Are you ready to continue? So I hope you had a good break, and now you're all filled with caffeine and ready to continue. So now we have a talk from Jinesha Gandhi from Redhill Games about leadership, inspiring teams to believe in the impossible. So Jinesha, welcome.
Hello. Hello. Hi, firstly, can you hear me? Just making sure. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for coming and listening to my talk. I wanted to talk about a subject or a topic that I'm really passionate about, which is leadership, and a bit about me. So I work as a producer at Redhill Games. I have more than 10 years of management experience, and I've worked with lots of different people and in different industries: IT, mobile gaming, console, PC, and now I'm still in the gaming industry because I love making games. So as I mentioned, I wanted to talk about what exactly is leadership, and and how do you inspire teams to believe in doing something that's impossible. So I'm going to run through a few points. What is leadership? Qualities of a leader, managers versus leaders, how to inspire teams, and a conclusion. So first, I want to ask you guys a question. You can see a little comic strip that I have put here where a project manager is telling his teammate, this is a major project of utmost importance, but it has no budget, no guidelines, no support staff, and it's due in 15 minutes. At last, here's your chance to really impress everyone. Do you guys think that this is leadership? Good. Good to know you don't you think it's not leadership. Thank God. So obviously that was not leadership. You can't force your teams to do things. You cannot treat people with disrespect and and ask them to prove themselves just because you have deadlines. So leadership is basically a process of social influence which maximizes the efforts of others towards the achievement of a goal. So it's basically bringing together teams of different people from different backgrounds, different disciplines, and bringing them towards one common goal, the project, which is very important for us to do. Also, leadership is not associated to just project management. Anyone can be a leader. Even one developer of yours, a gameplay programmer, an artist, they can also be a leader. As long as you can inspire people and empower people to do things, you are a leader. So I wanted to share this one video, which I really like, and it's by one of the most favorite people of mine who I look up to be one day, Richard Branson. So I'm going to play it for you.
What is a company? A company is a group of people, and that really is all a company is. And so if you're going to have a group of people together, they must be happy people. And if they're going to be happy people, they've got to be led by somebody who is happy themselves, who loves people, who cares generally about people, and who looks for the best in people, who is somebody who doesn't criticize, but who praises and brings out the best in people. So we look for people who are great leaders of people because they genuinely care about people, and I think we're lucky at Virgin. That's the kind of people we've got. Now, if a company brings in somebody into a company that's not that kind of person, they can destroy a company very quickly. If you destroy the morale in a company, it's very difficult to get that morale back. And so we try generally to promote from within our companies, so we know people's strengths and weaknesses before we promote them. We do sometimes bring people in from outside, and we try very hard to make sure that they're the kinds of people that we'll get on with. I'll give you one example.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm gonna go forward, otherwise this video will go really long. So one thing that Richard Branson says, it's so true. It's, a company is made by people. Even when it comes to game development, especially when you work in a management role, you need to realize that it's a group of people who come together to make this game possible, to deliver on the project, to do things which are extraordinary. So it's important to remember such things, and it's important to also remember that people have emotions. So when you want to push your team to do things, you need to deal with them at a psychological level, at an emotional level, and they need to feel that, yes, as you're their leader, you understand their pain points, you understand their strengths, and you're ready to help them elevate their strengths in order for their betterment first, and then the project, and then they'll have a more positive attitude towards things. So what are the qualities that make a leader? Authenticity and self-awareness. So this is really important as a leader yourself. We all have our shortcomings. So it's very important even for us to know, it's important for us to know what we are not good at, and to find those kind of people around you who can actually fill in that gaping hole that, okay, I'm not good at, suppose, programming. So you find good developers. I'm not good at communicating technical art things. So you find a technical manager. So you need to build your team with people who can actually fill in your shortcomings. You empower teams. So this is a very difficult thing to do, empowering a team, because it takes up a lot of your own, I think, personal space to a large extent. It's much easier to put your team in a corner and be strict and be bossy and authoritative and push them to do things. But it's really hard to empower them and to talk to them and to be a good listener and listen to what they have to say and what are their thoughts. So this I learned really late in my life. I had a mentor who taught me that how to empower teams. And before that, I used to work for a manager who was more authoritative and asked me to scare my team to get work done. And empowering always goes a long way. Good listener, yes. So usually most of the people, they hear, they don't listen. So when you have to be a good listener, it's important to first ask your team or ask people around you, what they think of certain decisions that are being made in your project or at a company level. Try to understand what they have to say. If they are happy, if they are not, even if they have some suggestions, be open to it, because a lot of times, they have a different perspective that they bring on the table, which might actually give you a new outlook as well towards things. In interpersonal communication, so a good leader is always very, very good with people. They can talk to anybody. And, we come across, we meet we meet different kinds of people in our career. And I have also come across very reserved people or people who are not okay with talking to managers and who are actually within themselves. So you need to know how to, break that shell, how to ice break with them, how to talk to them and get them also to talk to you. Because if your team cannot talk to you, they will never tell you what difficulty they have, what problems they are facing, and you can never help them. And our job is to basically make sure that they don't have any problems when they are doing their work. Empathy. Again, empathy, I believe that you should always give people a benefit of doubt as to why it is that certain things are happening in their life. If someone from your team is not coming to work or is not showing any interest at work, instead of just, making up assumptions and talking to the HR, talking to the management that, oh, this person's work is so bad and it's deteriorating, go and ask him, what is troubling you? Is everything okay? Is there something that I can help with? And you might just find out that that person is having a personal problem where he cannot concentrate at work, or maybe he's not interested and he's looking for another job opportunity. So then you'll be able to tackle such problems with ease. Lead by example. So all this is quite easy to say. So at times you need to show your team, or you need to do things to actually explain to them how things are done. So I'll give you a small example. I use a project management tool, Jira, which I think a lot of people might not know. So there, we have to write down a lot of tasks, and we have a lot of project management stuff happening in that tool. So first, it's okay. I write it down. I explain to them why it is we are doing this. And then after that, you can have your team work on it. So this is a small example of mine, but it's always better to lead by example as much as you can, because then your team, they also trust you that, okay, she's just not saying things out of her whims and fancies. She actually does it herself. Share vision. So a lot of times in a company or in a project, a lot of decisions are made at a management level. And then it's told to the team that, okay, for example, we are closing this project, or, we want to extend this project by another 5 years, or we are having layoffs, or whatever decisions are made. But it's important to share with your team, why is it that you made this decision? So they also feel involved, and they also can understand that, why are certain things happening. And like I said, they will also share their feedbacks, because a company is made of people, and you don't want the best people in your team leaving you, because it's very hard to find good people to work with. Focus on teams. So leaders, they focus on building teams, growing teams. It's not just about, okay, I filled the position of 4 people in my company and my team is done. No, we are always hungry, and we always want new people to join, good people, passionate people to join our teams. So you should always focus on, pushing your team's limit, because a lot of people are really good at what they do, but they need someone to believe in them, to be pushed to that extent of, okay, I can do this. Ability to learn. So leadership is one thing where you're always learning. Even 10 years of experience doesn't mean that you know how to lead teams, or project management. You're always learning from different people. You're always learning from your own mistakes, from your stakeholders, from everyone. So you should have an open mind of learning things from your team as well. Like, for example, I am not a programmer. So if I have to do something with my programming team, I actually go and I tell them that I don't know how to code, but I want to learn, how did you make this, and try to understand how they do things. Because the more you try to understand how things are done, you're in a better position to solve problems. So some quotes that I really love and I save and I read whenever I get time. If you delegate tasks, you create followers. If you delegate authority, you create leaders. And this is so, so true. I've seen a lot of, people who've been in project management in my time who've always been more task focused, which we have to be. But then finding one person in your team who has that spark or ability or that passion to get into leadership, it is always good to give them, certain authority to follow up with teams, to manage things for you, to give you updates, because then you're grooming them also, and you're also improving their skills as a leader. So one key slide I wanted to share, the difference between managers and leaders, because management and leadership has a fine line. All managers can be leaders, but leaders can never be managers. And this is why the key difference is, so leaders, they motivate and they inspire people. Managers, they tend to be a bit authoritative and controlling. Leaders, they focus on people. And for managers, it's more about processes and getting things done in a very process-oriented way, which is not bad also. But, you have to keep in mind also that people should not get a burnout or waste most of their time and just working towards processes. Changes. Leaders, they promote changes. Managers, they react to changes. People, so leaders, they align people towards one common goal. Managers, they tend to arrange people. Conflict, so leaders, they use conflict as an asset, as a way of learning something out of conflicts. My slides have gone. Okay. And managers, they avoid conflict because they feel that they don't have, they feel that they don't have enough time to deal with conflict and people should just resolve things between themselves. Strives. So leaders, they strive for effectiveness. Managers strive for efficiency. Another quote, great leaders are not the best at everything. They find people who are the best at different things and get them all on the same team. So, as I said, as leaders, we have a lot of shortcomings, a lot. Maybe that's why we are in a management position. But we bring together different people with amazing skills and specialities who can come and elevate the whole team as well as elevate us personally in our growth and knowledge. So, one topic I wanted to even speak about is how do you inspire teams? Because, again, inspiring them, empowering teams is a bit tricky. And it's a very, I think, it's a very delicate topic. And it's done in a very delicate way because you deal with people again. So, the first thing you do is you communicate the why. So you have to communicate to your team why it is that we are doing certain things. Or if you suppose you want to have a one-on-one with your teammate, you need to communicate with them. Why is it that you feel that they need to develop a certain skill set to really, to really take themselves to the next level? Show your appreciation. So a lot of people don't appreciate, and it's quite sad that we don't do it. Maybe because we forget or we don't have time or we feel it's their job, they need to do this. But appreciation goes a long, long way. Writing an email, good work, even writing a small comment or just going and telling them that a really awesome job, even if you know that this is what they're supposed to do, it goes a long way. Create a culture of collaboration. So in this, your team should feel very safe when they talk to you or when they talk to anybody, because a lot of times in projects, we face issues where maybe someone in the team has made a huge blunder or a huge mistake, which is costing the whole project a lot of money, time, or issues. But if you create a collaborative environment, you'll have people from all over coming and they're trying to help you out, trying to solve that problem. And even the person who created these mistakes will tell you openly that, okay, I did this. Now, how do we resolve it? And that's the kind of environment and collaboration you want to have with your team. Provide development opportunities. So here it's important to identify people in your team who you think you could, push them, promote them to the next level, or ask people that, what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? If you're an artist, do you want to be a senior? Do you want to be a lead artist? Do you want to be a producer? And try to groom them, give them an opportunity to play that role in a real life situation and see how they see how they work in that environment, and you'll be able to guide them, help them. They will also feel that, okay, my manager is actually here to help me and she actually cares about what my growth. It's not only the project. Create a positive working environment. So in this, a lot of time in teams, inside teams, people, I think, you tend to get a bit demotivated or people get a bit pissed off when few things happen. So they tend to talk within each other. So you need to make sure that the work environment or the teams you're working with have a very transparent and open communication. And as a leader, you should not let negativity spread. Because negativity, if it spreads, then it can poison everyone's mind. So you talk to the person who is spreading negativity. If that's the case, ask them what is bothering them. Why is it that they're talking like this? And generally create a super positive work environment where people want to come and just work. another small video I wanted to share about inspiring teams.
The Navy SEALs are one of the highest performing organizations on the planet. And a former Navy SEAL was asked, who makes it through BUDS? Who makes it through the selection process to become a SEAL? And he said, I can't tell you who gets through, who makes it, but I can tell you the kind of people who don't make it. He said the star college athletes that never have been really tested to the core of their being, none of them make it through. He said the preening leaders who like to delegate everything, none of them make it through. He said the big tough guys that come in with huge muscles, covered in tattoos, who want to prove to everyone how tough they are, none of them make it through. He said some of the guys that make it through are skinny and scrawny. He said some of the guys who make it through, you will see them shivering out of fear. He said, but every single one of them who makes it through, when they're emotionally exhausted, when they're physically exhausted, some way, somehow, they're able to dig down deep inside themselves to find the energy to help the person next to them. Service. Service. Giving to another, having their back, is what makes the highest performing teams in the world. Not their strength and not their intelligence. It's their willingness to be there for each other.
So, I mean, what he said is so true. You need to, teams, they need to be there for each other. Your team needs to be there for you. You need to be there for them. And leadership is a service where you put people in front of you. It's always about that. It's always helping your team, through everything. So in conclusion, true leadership is never about authority or power. It is about helping others grow, and that is something anyone can do. If you can inspire people to do something that they thought they couldn't do, demonstrate how the impossible is possible, believe in someone when they didn't believe in themselves, you are a true leader. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to take.